am attorney Marie-Chris Bathan-Lasco. This is my virtual classroom. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, I shall aim to simplify the law. I will discuss concepts and principles of law in under 10 minutes. Hello again. In the previous video, we talked about the different kinds of things. We talked about what a specific thing is and what a generic thing is, and we differentiated between the two. We learned that concept under Article 1163 of the Civil Code. Now, in this video, I want us to talk about another concept that we learn from the nature and effect of obligations, and that is what is a real right versus a personal right. And we get actually this concept from Article 1164. So let's take a look at Article 1164. Your 1164 states, the creditor has a right to the fruits of the thing from the time the obligation to deliver it arises. However, he shall acquire no real right over it until the same has been delivered to him. When you look at Article 1164, it actually introduces you to two concepts in obligations and contracts. What are these concepts? You have real right and personal right. So what is a real right? A real right is a right pertaining to a person over a specific thing without a passive subject. Or in short, your real right is a right of a person against the whole world. While a personal right is a right to demand against a definite passive subject the fulfillment of the obligation. So why do I say that there are two concepts in this Article 1164, the personal right and the real right? You break down 1164 into two parts. The first part, it says that the creditor has a right to the fruits of the thing from the time the obligation to deliver it arises. And then the second part, however, he shall acquire no real right over it until the same has been delivered to him. That gives you these two concepts on personal right and real right. The personal right there is when the obligee will now demand from the obliger the fulfillment of the obligation. But the obligee does not have the real right over the thing up until that thing is delivered to him. So let's illustrate to better understand these two concepts under 1164. For example, Ben obliged himself to deliver a particular parcel of land to Billy on December 1, 2021. So, prior to December 1, 2021, does Billy have any right against Ben? There is no right yet. Why? Because the obligation will arise only in the arrival of the period that they agreed upon. That is December 1, 2021. So again, from the time of the promise up to the arrival of the period, as agreed, December 1, 2021, there is no right yet by Billy against Ben. How about on December 1, 2021? Does Billy have a right against Ben? This time, he has a right. And what right is available to him? The right is what we call now the personal right. Why is it personal right? Because this time, since the period has arrived, the period that they agreed upon has arrived, Billy can now compel Ben to deliver that particular parcel of land. Now, when will the real right of Billy over the particular parcel of land, when will he have rather the real right? The real right will come in only after the delivery of that particular parcel of land. And that is the time that Billy will also have the right to the fruits of the land. That is what is meant by Article 1164. In that example, there was an agreed period, and that is when the obligation to deliver the thing promised has arisen. But how about if there's no period? Supposing instead of Ben promising to deliver a particular parcel of land to Billy on December 1, 2021, there is no mention of a date. There's just a promise of Ben delivering or giving a particular parcel of land to Billy. When then will the obligation to deliver arise? The obligation to deliver rather will arise right away. Why? Because if there is no period, then the obligation becomes demandable at once. Now, how will this affect your personal right and your real right? So, if the promise has no time period, there is no period agreed upon, it's just Ben promising to deliver to Billy a particular parcel of land, it becomes demandable at once. Meaning, from the time the promise was made, there is already the personal right of Billy as against Ben. Again, what do you mean by personal right? The personal right to compel Ben to deliver right away. Because again, it becomes demandable at once. When will the real right come in? Again, the real right will come in only when that thing that was promised was actually delivered to Billy in our example. Now we have been saying that real right will come in only when there is delivery of the thing that was promised. How then do we make delivery? There are two kinds of delivery: the actual delivery and the constructive delivery. Of course, when we say actual delivery, then the thing that was promised will actually change hands. Like for example, this powder, okay? If I will promise to deliver this to Maria, then I will physically and actually deliver to her. So there's actual changing of hands. How about constructive delivery? Constructive delivery also has several different types. It could be traditio symbolica, it could be traditio longa mano, it could be traditio brevi mano, or traditio constitutum possessorium, or tradition by execution of legal forms and solemnity. So let's talk about them one by one. What is traditio symbolica? Traditio symbolica is delivery through a thing that symbolizes the thing that was promised to be delivered. So, for example, you promised to deliver a house. Of course, you cannot physically deliver a house. So, how do you deliver a house? You could perhaps give the keys to the house. So, that is one way of delivery. This is constructive delivery. Delivering a thing by using a symbol of that thing. Another is traditio longa mano. It is delivery by mere consent or pointing out of the object. So you just point out, okay, that belongs to you now. That parcel of land you see there's a mango tree with that, there's a boundary there, etc., etc., that belongs to you now. I am delivering that to you. That is traditio longa mano. That's one way of delivering a thing. Another mode of constructive delivery is your traditio brevi mano. This is otherwise called as your tradition or traditio or delivery by the shorthand. What does this mean? This means that the possessor of the thing who is not an owner becomes still the possessor of it, this time as an owner. So for example, if you are a lessee of let's say a townhouse, and then you buy that house, you continue to be the possessor of it, but you are now the owner of the house. So there is really no change of hands, only the change in the status or the reason of possession. So from you being just a possessor, not as an owner, you then become the owner. There's already delivery there. Now, how about traditio constitutum possessorium? This time, this is the opposite of traditio brevi mano. In traditio constitutum possessorium, you are already possessing the thing or the property as an owner. But you enter into a contract making another person as owner, but you still continue to be a possessor of the thing in another capacity. So you are, let's say again, an example, a house. You are the owner of the house, but then you sell the house. But you would still want to stay in that house, not anymore as an owner, but as a lessee. So you enter into a contract with the buyer that yes, you're already the owner, but let me continue to stay in the house for at least a year and I'll be paying you rent. That is traditio constitutum possessorium. And lastly, you have the tradition or delivery by the execution of legal forms and solemnities. So for example, a sale of a particular parcel of land, if you execute a deed of sale, transferring ownership from the seller to the buyer, that is also considered as delivery, a type or mode of constructive delivery. So that's it for this video. Watch out for the next. So if you find this video helpful, please click like, subscribe, and that notification bell so that you will be notified of new video uploads. Thank you for watching. See you next time in MBL Classroom.